Bill here. I'd like to talk about king and pawn against king endgames. Okay, so I've given white an extra pawn. Okay, now, the interesting thing is, the black king's best square is directly in front of the pawn, where A, it blocks the pawn, and B, attacks it. It doesn't matter where the white king is, or whose move it is, this position is a draw with best play. So this applies if the king is in front of the pawn, provided the king is not on the back rank, which in some cases is a draw and sometimes is a win. Now the king, the second best square for the king, is 2 squares in front of the pawn. And again, provided the king is not on the back rank, and it doesn't matter where the white king is or whose move it is, this is a draw with best play. So these are the squares the black king wants to get to. Now, if the king is 3 squares in front of the pawn, this is sometimes drawn depending on where the white king is. If the white king can move in front of the pawn, it is a win if it's black's move. Black will have to move the king, and then white will be able to control the critical 3 squares in front of the pawn and win with best play. If on the other hand it is white's move in this position, the game is a draw with best play. So this is a critical position. So if black cannot get on any of the 3 squares in front of the pawn, white will win. For example, if the white king is here, it doesn't matter where the black moves. So it doesn't matter where the black king is or whose move it is, unless the king can take the pawn in one move. For example, if it was on c4 and it was black's move, the king could take the pawn. This will be a win for white. Also, if the king is a knight's move in front of the pawn, like here, provided the black king can't move to take the pawn, doesn't matter where the black king is or whose move it is, white will win. And a similar situation arises if the king is on e6. It's worth keeping in mind these rules only apply to pawns that aren't on the rook's file. Rook pawns are a special case. So the best square for the defender is right in front of the pawn. Second best square is 2 squares in front of the pawn. Third square is 3 squares in front of the pawn, and that is sometimes a draw depending on if white can get the king in front of the pawn. And winning positions for white are if the king can get to this square, or this square. So it's all to do about who controls the path of the pawn, the 3 squares in front of the pawn. Okay, so thank you for watching.